Welcome to the Mindset by Design podcast with your host, the expert Andy Murphy, where you will learn the tips, tricks, and strategies he teaches his world-class clients to give you the skills to dominate any business.
What's going on, Mindset by Design crew, and welcome to episode 340. Hope you're amazing as always, and we're getting there, right? We're on the way to 400, 340 now. We're getting there. I look back over these episodes and over the years I've been doing this, and 7.5 years I've been doing actually this specific podcast. And I did one before that called the Andy Murphy podcast. I might want to bring that out again, right? We'll keep this as another brand maybe. I don't know. Let me know. I'd love to talk about different topics, any topic, right? But the cool thing is I fly to see Mr. Ryan Alford this week, basically. And we are going to be recording for 2 whole weeks. For what? Well, the Radical Formula, right? It's going to be on his brand, the Radcast, which is the number, it's the top 24. I think it might be a bit more than that now, but top 24 business podcast on Spotify. And so which means it's the biggest platform in the world now for podcasts. So I'm pumped. We're going to be coming up with so much content, so much videos. I'm really pumped. So we're going to get to talk about not just business, not just mental performance, but everything, right? And again, psychology is how the world runs. It's how the economy runs. It's how the stocks work. It's how people connect with brands and people, and it's just all psychology. So that's what I'm pumped about. I'm pumped about looking at every aspect of the world and seeing how we can really create massive impact, as that's what's needed right now. Yes, massive impact, massive change, massive difference. And the reason is this, right? The world has changed so much, and it is changing so much, and it's changing so fast. And it's wild to see, because when I go back and visit the UK, as I was, a couple of months ago, and just had a quick visit, it's a little bit behind. Let's say that, man. It's a little bit behind. A little bit behind in the way they think about themselves, about personal development, about actual business, or even the freedom to be able to do whatever you want, right? Start an online brand, build a community, just whatever it is that your heart is pulled to. Well, guess what? People in the UK, it's not a normal thing. And then you head to America and you go around different places around the world, and it's just a normal thing. And the way I see this, it's about taking charge of your own freedom. It's about taking charge of your own time, your own mental space. I mean, I've worked for myself a long, long time now, and hey, I've taken the hits, man. I've taken the highs, the lows, the highs again. This is just what it is. And the thing about that for someone in a 9-to-5 job is a very scary thought. Do you know what I mean? Being out in the wild, wild world by yourself, you're responsible for your own income. Ideas and solutions to problems come out of your imagination. It's. I suppose looking at it, it's from the outside. It's a wild world. But you know what the 9-to-5ers think? And I'm just using the 9-to-5ers as a term. I don't really mean it like that. And it's definitely not putting anybody down, because, hey, it looks quite good. But the thing about that is, it's from the entrepreneur's world and looking in on the corporate world, we think everyone's a little crazy. And I mean that in a beautiful way, a little crazy. Everybody's crazy, right? But a little bit crazy because they're controlled by a paycheck. Does that make sense? And it means you can't be free. You can't have that flexibility. You can't just create an idea out of your imagination and put it out into the world. You can't do that over in the corporate world. Well, maybe in some roles, you know what I mean? But the other side of it, corporate think entrepreneurs are a little crazy. Am I right? I don't know who's listening. Are you in the corporate world? Or are you an entrepreneur, right? Or you wanted to be an entrepreneur? Or maybe you're an entrepreneur and go, fuck it, I'm getting back into that corporate space. It's way easier. And maybe it is. Maybe it's not. It's pros and cons to both, right? But the corporate person generally thinks the entrepreneur is crazy because we just go and run around and just do things. And the entrepreneur thinks the corporate person's crazy because you haven't got freedom. And both are crazy. So don't worry about that. But my point is to this rant is that you can do whatever you want. It's true, man. We're so stuck in an old format of the way the world works, way society works, and the way we earn money and the way we acquire things and have choices, and it's all changing, and it's changing so fast. I mean, where was NFTs 12 months ago, 18 months ago, 2 years ago? They didn't exist, right? And now people are earning billions, and I use that word billions, from these things. Same with crypto. Where was that 10 years ago, 5 years ago, right? And now, guess what? There's 30 new billionaires over the past 18 months, just specifically from crypto. All the corporate venture capitalist firms and banks and everything are moving to crypto, or at least putting their toes in there. Even you can buy crypto through PayPal now, right? So who the heck thought this was going to happen? I didn't, did you? I didn't have a clue. But it has, and it is. And we are just at the beginning. We are just at the beginning of this madness, right? I'm a little bit old now, you know what I mean? It's my birthday next month. And I look back, and I'm probably the last generation that existed before the internet. You know, so we've seen the internet, no internet, which was... Man, it seems insane. It seems insane. Like, you think about it, right? You someone would go out for the night, and you just hope they'd come back. You didn't have a clue. You didn't have a clue. There's no mobile phones, cell phones. There was no social media. There was no one posting where they are, so you could check in on them and make sure they're okay. No, they might come back. They might not. Hopefully they do. Most of the time we did, right? Most of the time we did. But it's a while to see. I remember when YouTube started. I'm showing my age now, but when YouTube started, man, and it's like, it wasn't even, you didn't even have fiber optic. So the YouTube was on, it was slow. It took about a minute for a video to load up, and it wasn't playing a video. You know what I mean? It was jerky and crappy. It was all photos everywhere on the internet. Bit different, right, as we move into augmented reality and as we move into VR and yeah, damn, Neuralink and everything else that's out there. But the reason I'm saying all this is I love change. I love it. But what happens in the middle of change? We go from what we know is stable, then there's something that happens in the middle before we get change. And it's always confusion. It's chaos. It has to be chaos, right? It has to be. It has to be chaos. It has to be change to make change. Do you know what I mean? But there's so many people that get stuck. And I was recently in the UK, as I say, a couple of months ago, and it was weird to say, and maybe I've said this on the podcast before, and please shut me up if I have, or just skip it. No, I'm joking. You can listen to me. But do you know what? There was doom and gloom. Let's say that. And I'm sure it's like this everywhere else in the world, but the only people I know who in the corporate world or normal job are the people in the UK, and there's a couple of people in the US. That's it, and I mean a couple of people. But the rest of the world, I just know entrepreneurs. I don't know anybody else. And there's a big difference in focus. Let's call it focus, right? There's a big difference on emotion, definitely. Big difference on belief systems, yep. Big difference on the way we value ourselves, yep. Big difference on what we perceive is possible. Yeah, absolutely. But the biggest underlying factor is focus. So where our focus is, our energy flows to. And it's an old cheesy saying, but it's the truth, man. And it's the absolute truth. And we can talk about spirituality there. We can talk about the reticular activating system in the brain. And we could go wherever you want with it, right? We're building neurological patterns that are very, very different, which means the chemicals are being produced are extremely different, right? When you're in two different worlds, that world or the entrepreneur world. And when we start to understand this, then we can be forgiving. Do you know what I mean? I'm not expecting everyone to go out at 24 like I did and just move to the other side of the world and see what happens. No, I'm not expecting that, right? I'm not expecting that at all. It's a little bit crazy, but hey, I'm a little bit crazy. But what was sad, it was the emotion that was attached or connected to the focus. And that emotion was heaviness. It was sadness. Do you know what I mean? And how can you be motivated feeling sad? How can you see the best amazing things in the world if you're feeling sad? Does that make sense? This is where we start to connect with different states or different versions of us. Because what happens is your emotion or the dominant emotion dictates your reality. So think about this. When you're afraid of something, right? What does the world look like? Right? Scary, right? When you are feeling broke, poor, right? Because something's happened. How does buying things feel? Doesn't feel good, right? But what happens when you're feeling amazing, right? Feeling amazing, excited, pumped up, everything's in flow. How does the world look? It looks beautiful, right? Infinite opportunities. And when we can put ourselves in that space, then we see the world a very different way. I see the world right now as incredible. I do. I see the world as absolutely incredible. I see there's more opportunity for people than there ever has been. There's more of a wealth transfer than I've ever seen in my life. People are making more money, and it's not just about money. It's really, really not. But unfortunately, or fortunately, I don't know which way it is, really. It's money dictates freedom unless you move away from money. And the more money you've got, if you dictated it the right way, or dedicated, I should say, the right way, you can help so many people. Like these dum-dums like, Jeff Bezos and so many other people. What are they really doing, with the money? They're just accumulating wealth. And it's stupid. Did you see there was it a Christmas party, New Year's Eve? I'm not sure, where Jeff Bezos was dressed up in costume and he was partying with his girl. Think about that, right? Is he partying in a massive house? Yeah. But it's still just partying and having fun as a human being. Do you know what I mean? So the money doesn't mean anything, because he could have been in a tiny little apartment somewhere with those people having fun, feeling the same way. It's nothing, right? But money, if you use it in the right way, it's beautiful. Now, I don't care about Lambos and Ferraris. I really don't care in the slightest. What I care about is service to helping humanity, service to helping people, creating ripples of happiness, creating ripples of hope, creating ripples of confidence through people's brains, right? And so that's how someone grows a business, because you put your balls on the line and you go and make it happen. That's it. But people get scared. And it's okay to get scared. The world is telling you to be scared, right? But I'm looking out the window right now and all I see is blue skies. What am I scared of? I've got a tree, some water over there. What am I scared of? Nothing, right? Unless I decide to focus on what is scary. There's nothing scary. But if somebody's sitting next to you all day, right, you're happy, bouncing along, and somebody is standing next to you all day, and maybe they got a little handcuff connected to you, and they're like, look at that. Ooh, you sure you want to do that? Ooh, it's scary out there. Are you feeling sick, mate? Are you sick? What's going on? Oh, you can't afford that. You shouldn't do that. You're not going to be able to do that. That's just wrong. You should stay where you are. Just be safe. Just be safe. Just be safe. Just be safe. It sounds stupid. But if someone was doing that to you all day long, how would you feel? Right? Would you want to jump out and do something new, or would you want to hide? Well, do you know what I mean? We repeat around 66% of the words that we say inside of our head every day. They're on repeat, right? And every word that we say is directly connected to an emotion. That emotion dictates the reality that we see. It's that simple, right? So don't let anyone else tell you that. I think we went on a rant about that last time, right? Last episode, you'll be able to tell me. And it's so when we understand that this is the game, where our focus is, then we've got to understand that the focus on the future is where we have to be. Yes, the moment, presence, yes, absolutely, on a day-to-day basis. But our focus should be then on building the future. Building what opportunities appear in front of us, right? Co-creating with these things. And when we can do that, then the world seems beautiful. And that's what I wanted to introduce today's episode about. Yeah, it's the highest paid YouTubers right now. The highest paid YouTubers. And think about that. You had spoken about YouTube before. Did anyone know that people were going to earn like $20 million a year from YouTube? No, of course you didn't, right? And I'm not telling everyone to be a YouTube star. In fact, I wouldn't want to be a YouTube star because too many people have got eyeballs on you. And that's counterintuitive. I want to be invisible, right? Very public, but also invisible. You can't do that way. But what you can do is embrace technology. Now, technology could be the downfall of us all. It could be, man, Terminator stuff, right? But it could also be absolutely incredible. And the thing is, if we took ego out of the way, imagine how the power of social media if there was no negativity. Think about that, right? If every single channel on social media and every platform was about helping people and giving people services and making sure that everyone's got food and making sure that everyone's got clothes and a bed and making sure everyone's happy and warm and safe. And if they needed a service doing in the house, there was someone who would be there to help them. Imagine if social media was like that. Be a totally different thing, right? But we're human. And as a human experience, what we have is ego that attaches us to earth, right? And so ego, many different ways to look at it. The way I teach it and look at it is it's basically your defense mechanism. And your defense mechanism is what wants to keep you safe all the time. And that's what ego does. If you're insecure, people bling bling and posture and come across arrogant, right? But no one wants to be around someone who's arrogant. What they want to be around is people who are nice, right? And if you want to be around ego people, just please go away. Don't listen to this podcast. Drives me crazy because from a psychological aspect, I can read the behavior, the body language. I can read the internal dialogue. I can read exactly the map of reality so fast. And it's always linked to trauma and insecurity. And I've seen so many thousands and thousands of clients over 20 years. This year I'll be doing this. And I've just seen so many people. So insecurity breeds ego, and ego is bling bling, and it doesn't work for me, man. It doesn't work. Stay away from those people. They'll always hurt you. So anyway, back to YouTube stars. It's wild. And the thing is, people think, with all these social media people, right? It's people look at them and think, they're just posting videos. They're just doing this. No. One of the guys that we're going to talk about in a moment is a guy called Mr. Beast on YouTube. If you don't know Mr. Beast and you want to laugh, go and watch Mr. Beast. He does the wildest stuff. I think he spends, $40-something million a year producing videos. And he doesn't care about having cash in the bank. He just loves to make videos. But so think about how much he's earning. And we're actually going to have a look how much he's earning in a minute. Hopefully these stats and numbers I'm going to share with you in a few minutes are accurate, but it is from Forbes. So you'd hope so, but you never know. But people look at people on social media and just think they're posting videos or they're posting blogs or they're doing these things. And it's so far from the truth. Once you look behind the scenes of how how difficult is the best word. It's difficult the industry is. You'll be shocked. All of these people that you see are kicking ass, they're clever. They're really, really, really clever, you know? And whatever they were going to do, if it wasn't on that platform, they were going to be badasses at it. They were, man. They were going to be so successful, whatever they turned their hand to, because they're really, really clever and obsessed with learning and getting things right. Now, when you look at all those social media platforms, algorithms change constantly. Yet these are the biggest people in the world, and we're just talking about YouTube. Now, you might be going, Andy, what about these TikTokers just shaking their ass and dancing? Are they clever? Well, actually, yes. Yes, they are. Because they've got two sides of them. They've got the person who's in the front of the camera, and they've got the person who's behind the camera. And the person in the front of the camera still has to be like an actor. They have to be a presenter. They have to be very skilled at that. And then behind the scenes, man, it's so deep of what they've got to be able to do with keywording and traffic and constantly creating novel content that shines, right? Now, am I saying everybody's like this? No, there's some idiots on YouTube and idiots everywhere, right? But there are a lot of idiots in the world who just regurgitate the same old crap, right? And that drives me crazy in itself. And yes, there's a lot of BS people. And yes, there's a lot of fakers. And yes, there's a lot of scammers. There is. But there is no matter what, right? Those people are just going to be those people. And it doesn't matter what industry they're in. So anyway, back to YouTube. So what I'm going to do in a second is I'm just going to go through a list from Forbes, and we're going to talk about each person. And maybe you want to YouTube them, maybe you don't. We'll talk about their income. We'll talk a little bit about them. And we'll go and play. And speaking of playing, are you stepping up this year? Serious, it's a serious question, man. Because you listen to the podcast. You like it, obviously, because you keep coming back, and it's now it's time for you to do what you're supposed to do. I don't know what that is, but I want to help you. I want to help you in so many different ways. As I said before, we've got the Radical Formula, which you can jump on the VIP list right now. I'm about to fly in, and we're going to be smashing it over the next few weeks. So what that means is, by the end of the January, we should be ready to launch this absolutely incredible mastermind. It's just badass. It's brand and brain engineering. And as I say for you last time, Ryan Alford is one of the top marketers in the industry with the NFL, Verizon, and everyone else you can imagine. He's going to show you how to blow brands up, right? Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to show you how to make sure you can unlock who you are and then condition or build yourself into an absolute superhuman version of you. Those two things is the formula, which means we're going to make sure that you're not getting fed a load of crap that's all over social media, a load of crap from all of these people who don't know what they're doing. They've done a couple of courses, they got a qualification, now they think on the business card, they've wrote a title, and then they think they're experts. They're not. They're absolutely not. It's a combined 40 years experience. So what have you done for 20 years? I've done 20 years. He's done 21. It'll be 21 years he's done this year. But how is that, right? How is that? What have you done for 20 years that you're exceptionally skilled at? Right. So imagine being exceptionally skilled at what we do and being part of that on a weekly basis. Sound good? Yes, it's incredibly affordable. We've made sure it's incredibly affordable. So go to the Radical Formula and just sign up, and then we'll let you know, and then you can jump in. We've also got the Trader, the Genius Trader Club. Yeah, the Genius Trader Club. You need to be a part of that if you're an amateur, wannabe, or high-level pro. I'm going to show you how to condition your brain and nervous system to be able to perform like you do on your best day ever. So go over there, right? The Genius Trader Club. And the other one we got for you, working on this sales page, finishing it off this week. The course is built. It's all there. It's also incredible. And I'm relaunching it. Yeah, it's been off the market for a few years, and now it's time to get this incredible encyclopedia of high performance for entrepreneurs and I back into the world. And I really believe it's the premier thing out there that exists. I really, really do. And you can have it. Yeah, you can get it. So go to 8figurethinker.com and just sign up and I'll let you know very, very soon in the next few weeks when that's live. What else? Yeah, just head over to andymurphy.online or come and find me, Andy Murphy Mindset, every platform. You'll get me. Okay, crew, let's do this. Let's jump in and let's go and look at some YouTube badasses. And make sure they head over to the show notes, making sure you're hanging out with me. And you want to be jumping in somewhere. And let's take your life, your business, and everything of who you are to a whole new level. Okay, hit those show notes and I will see you at the end of the show. Okay, crew, let's settle in. Imagine you got a cup of coffee or tea. You know, I'm British, so we do that tea thing. A cup of coffee, tea, whatever you want, right? You can sit down with a whiskey, or you could, if it's legal, you can smoke a joint. Whatever's good. But what I'm here to say is I'm going to read this article to you. I'm going to read bits of it and we'll go through it. It's quite long, but it's epic. So it's by a lady called Abigail Freeman and Abraham Brown, and they're the Forbes staff. And it's epic, but I'm just going to read the whole thing. Okay, so with a name like Mr. Beast, I love Mr. Beast, perhaps it was only inevitable that he'd grow to be as big as he is become. The 23-year-old earned $54 million in 2021. Do you hear that? 23. He's 23 years old. I didn't know he was that young. And he runs, like, separate from the article, he runs a massive business, man. He is a beast. That's what I'm saying. He really is. He's running a high-level business. He's not just making random content. He is genuinely like a movie producer. It's incredible. So $54 million in 2021. The most of any YouTuber ever, and his videos have accumulated 10 billion views, doubling from the previous year. What do people like so much about him? Well, the internet loves watching stunts, and Mr. Beast excels at delivering super-sized ones. In the last year, he spent more than 50 hours buried alive, offered $10,000 to anyone willing to sit in a bathtub of snakes, and hosted his own version of the Squid Games, building replicas of Netflix shows sets. It was wild if you've not seen some of that. Mr. Beast leads our latest list and top earning YouTubers for the first time, and likely earns himself as among the top spots of the world's highest paid entertainers. So just press pause there for a second. Did you hear what that just said? Among the world's highest paid entertainers. So these people are not just YouTubers, or they're not just social media stars. No, they're the world's highest paid entertainers. In fact, his $54 million paycheck would have put him in the top 40 of our last Celebrity 100, a ranking of the top paid stars across the all entertainment, including like Billie Eilish, Kim Kardashian, Angelina Jolie, people like that, right? The two right behind Mr. Beast are actually Jake Paul. Do you know the YouTuber now boxer? Again, you gotta hate Jake Paul, but you gotta love Jake Paul. And I used to hate Jake Paul, but now I love Jake Paul. He's a very clever boy, right? But he earned $45 million. That's not from YouTube, by the way. That's from boxing. So just so you know. But the number 3 is Mark Pilot. Never even heard of him. Have you heard of him? Mark Plyer. See, I can't even say his name. Markiplier. I don't know. $38 million though. So he's done all right. And also would have made the celebrity top 100 celebrities. Yeah, that's a $35 million cutoff. So although the YouTubers collectively earned about $300 million in 2021, another record amount, up 40% from a year earlier, most propelled highly by increasing views on their YouTube channels and the ad revenue they generate from those videos. That's the point, right? So understand that's the internet, really. This is what media, this is what... news channels and everything. It's the ad revenue. So what happens? You get clickbait BS, right? That hooks you in, and then they're just lying because they get paid so much. That's why you got to be so careful. And just on looking at media in general. So the platform has close to 2 billion users now, a 40% increase in the last 5 years. Around half of their earnings come from that of ad revenue. To pad their pay further, all these stars have branded merchandise lines. And they variously dabble in generating additional revenues from Twitch, Snap, Facebook, podcast, NFTs, even hamburgers. A few have signed lucrative deals with Spotter and Los Angeles startup buying up the rights of the old YouTube videos. Interesting. Their chunky checks made one thing abundantly clear. It's not only getting harder to distinguish a digital brand from an Angelina. That's a Jolie, I'm assuming. But it's true, right? Because people now, I don't know, I saw this video a few days ago, and it was a travel blog, actually. And it was a YouTuber. Yeah, surprise again, right? And this YouTuber went to a hotel. And it was a crazy luxury hotel. I'm not sure if it wasn't in Dubai or somewhere like that. And they went up. And it was two of them actually. And he went up and he gives it, do you have any free places, basically, free suites for social media people? And they're like, yes, but it has to be a minimum of 1 million followers. So if you get 1 million followers, and this suite, by the way, was like 40 grand a night, then that person with 1 million followers got it for free because they promote it. Do you see how crazy that is? Right. So it's like the old celebrity things, like everyone who get in Hollywood, they get things for free once they're famous, right? Kind of the same thing. So anyway, 54 million up, Mr. Beast. Thanks to the surge in views, his 2021 payday is almost double that of the last year. Number one brought in, that would be in the 29.5 million, brought in by Ryan Alford, who slips to number 7. Another attention-grabbing project from 2021 with Mr. Beast is Mr. Beast Burger, an app and menu that lets fans order Mr. Beast branded meals from 1,600 restaurants across the country that have partnered with him to fulfill their orders. I had no idea. See? Clever. He's 23. What were you doing at 23, right? Doesn't matter probably how successful you were. We weren't doing this stuff, were we? Mr. Beast handles the marketing, pushing the burgers at his nearly 90 million YouTube subscribers. He and the restaurants then split the profits from the orders, so far from the operation has sold 5 million sandwiches. Insane. That's a clever boy. Gotta love Mr. Beast. And he's also just a nice guy. You can see it. You can see he's just a nice dude, you know? And then we got number 2. So maybe this is the top 10. Let's go take a little look. But number 2 is, little drum roll for you. Jake Paul. Think about that. 45 million, man, in 1 year. Not life. Not a career like in basketball. 1 year. Think about that, right? So, look who's back. This is the article, right? Paul returns to the list. He last made it in 2018 with 21.5 million in earnings, largely on the strength of his boxing earnings. He fought 3 well-publicized bouts last year with a pair of MMA fighters. Yes, we all know that, and you all know I'm a huge fan and trained in martial arts since I was a kid. So Ben Askren, Tyron Woodley, again, dude, these guys were retired. And anyway, we're not going into that. He's doing well. In many ways, boxing a sport long populated by stars. It is a natural fit for Paul. No stranger to controversy, and that's how he made his whole YouTube career, and that's how he's moved into this. He had been one of YouTube's most popular names until his brother Logan posted a December 2017 video filmed in a Japanese forest. Yes, famous for a suicide spot. 2017. Oh wow, I thought it was before that. Fans hated it, deeming it strictly in poor taste, and the backlash hit both the Paul brothers. The sponsors cut them, the YouTube demonetized them. Now they can earn off YouTube ads again. But Jake posts less frequently than he once did, using the site mostly to promote his boxing. Which, by the way, is a little quote down the bottom, which I just saw. And it says nearly 90% of his earnings were from his boxing. Yeah, I told you that before, right? So think about those two, right? These are both young guys. I think Jake Paul's like 24. This other guy's 23. And they're smashing it. And your mum and dad, when you were young, told you to be a doctor or a lawyer. Yeah, haven't things changed, right? Haven't things changed? People get paid these days straight from the blockchain, if you didn't know this, for playing games. You can literally play games and earn money. Think about that. And you probably earn more money than the average person by sitting there playing games and getting paid from the blockchain, different formats. Crazy. So we have that guy, right? The guy I couldn't pronounce before. His name's Marky Playa. Okay, Marky Playa. That's good. Well, guess what? He earned 38 million. 38 million in 1 year, and can't even pronounce his name. Think about that. It's crazy. But this is why he's clever. Because few social media stars can move merch like Marky Playa, who saw extremely strong sales in t-shirts, hoodies, and other items tied to his Yunus Anus series. The main reason his earnings have nearly doubled from the previous list. Those Yunus Anus videos were a collection with fellow YouTuber Ethan Nestor Darling and ran on Mark Playa's YouTube channel starting in 2019. A year later, Marky Playa deliberately deleted them all. Next, Marky Playa hopes to remake himself as a TV star. In 2021, he filmed a television adaptation of The Edge of Sleep, a post-apocalyptic thriller he initially dramatized as a podcast in 2019. The TV star still needs a home, and he hopes to sell the series to a company like Netflix or Hulu. Do you know what I mean? It goes on. I can go on about them, but we're just going to cover the little bits, right? So number 4, again, I never heard of these. Rhett and Link. You heard of Rhett and Link? No, me neither. But guess what? $30 million in 2021. Insane. What started as the duo hosting a nerdy daily talk show, Good Mythical Morning, that's a cool name, has grown into something of an empire with spin-offs and brand extensions boosting their views and earnings on YouTube. One of the most successful efforts was the Mythical Kitchen, a cooking series with a separate host, Josh Shavir. The 2-year-old show already has 1.8 million subscribers on YouTube. Another initiative is their Mythical Accelerator Fund. They got into funds. How clever. So the Mythical Accelerator Fund, through which they intend to invest 5 million in other YouTubers. Very, very clever. I know Mr. Beast is doing the same. And that's not covered in this article. They made their first deal in 2021, contributing to undisclosed sum up to and a corner. I don't even know what he's saying there. But Jarvis Johnson, he worked with him. And in October, they satisfied a fan request to drop their family-friendly act, hosting a 2-hour, decidedly R-rated live stream, an event which sold 70,000 tickets for as much as $50 a pop. Think about that, right? They sold 70,000 tickets. It's digital. They weren't in person. And guess what? That's like the Super Bowl, is it? So they sold as many tickets as the Super Bowl. That's insane. Good on them. I love it. So number five. Again, Never heard of this dude. Never heard of them. This guy's name is called Unspeakable. I think he's been watching Harry Potter or something like that, right? Unspeakable. Oh yeah, that's the one who shouldn't be named or something like that. What am I talking about? Anyway, this dude earned 28.5 million. Yeah, it doesn't matter what I think, right? Unspeakable can't shut up about Minecraft. If you don't know Minecraft, it's a really, really, I don't know what type of computer game, but it sucks. But obviously, I'm in the minority, right? Because yeah, it doesn't really matter. So the pixelated video game that's now a childhood staple. Over 20 million people subscribe to his 4 YouTube channels where he posts videos of himself playing Minecraft and other games. In other clips, he does things like fill a room with live alligators. Born in Houston as Nathan Graham, he has posted steadily on YouTube for the past decade. Do you hear that? For the past decade. Do you know what I mean? So this is what I mean. These people, it doesn't just happen. So wherever you are in your life, you might be listening to this. Watching this, yeah, we'll be watching this soon. But listening to this going, damn. Do you know what I mean? It's like, how am I supposed to do that? How am I supposed to do this? It's called consistency. It's the same with anything. People these days, it's they have a title and they think they know what they're talking about. An expert takes 10,000 hours of continual growth to master a skill. That's an old stat, but they're showing it takes around about 12 to 14,000 hours to truly master a skill, right? But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. That's a lot of hours. A lot of hours. And this is what these people have put in. They're masters at what they do. So Unspeakable sold off his catalog of YouTube videos to Spotter last year, betting that he can use the lump sum to grow his business more quickly rather than wait for the videos to accrue ad revenue. Spotter is now one of the largest independent owners of YouTube content, making several deals last year and to buy back catalogs. In the meantime, the Spotter money was at least enough to help Unspeakable debut here. Yeah, so boom, 28 million. Love it. This is wild. This is wild. But the next one's number wild. And this is number 6. Number 6. So we went, yeah, you should have gone from 10 to 1, shouldn't I? Not 1 to 10. But anyway. This girl is called Nastia. Okay. Nasta? I'm pronouncing it wrong. Nastya. And do you know why I don't know this girl? Although this girl earned $28 million in 2021, do you know why I don't know this girl? And you might not know her too. Guess how old she is? 7. She's 7 years old and earned $28 million in 1 year. Head explode. It's craziness. Amazing, but crazy. So Nastia also did a Spotter deal last year. So this is Spotter blowing these people up. Selling the rights to her old YouTube videos was Spotter for cash up front while retaining the rights to any new videos she puts up. Amazing deal. The 7-year-old who immigrated from Russia with her parents has drawn in 87.5 million subscribers to her Like Nastia channel on YouTube, where she chronicles her life in installments. That's wild. Top hits from 2021 videos about decorating Halloween cupcakes and about spending time with her best friends. Insane. Along with the Spotter money, she and her corporate minders have busily added another brand extensions, including merchandise line of NFTs. Wild. Amazing. She's obviously got incredible people around her. I don't know if it's going to screw her up forever or she's going to change the world in a beautiful way. But best of luck, Nastia. Nasty? Can't be that. I'm pronouncing that wrong, right? Number 7. Ryan Kaji. Pronounced wrong, I'm sure. It's okay. You get used to me if you haven't been used to me for the past 7.5 years anyway. So he's done $27 million and he's gone to number 7. And guess what? His income's gone down. So Ryan started on YouTube at the tender age of 4. Oh, it's this dude. Okay, reviewing and playing with toys. Now 10, his parents and others guarding his business interests that include former Disney executive Chris Williams are increasingly focused on keeping his brand alive as he ages out of playtime. The answer, they hope, may be animated characters with Costa and Ryan. Thanks to Williams' licensing and media startup Pocket Watch, they've made some progress. One such character, Red Titan, a childhood superhero with a crimson cape and a passing resemblance to Ryan, has become well-known enough to appear at Macy's Thanksgiving Parade. For now, this main YouTube channel, Ryan's World, maintains 31 million subscribers and an enormous line of branded merchandise and toys sold at big box realtors like Walmart. Amazing. Number 8, you've probably heard of. These guys have been around for years. They do the most wildest things ever. Dude Perfect. I'm sure you know Dude Perfect, right? They're the ones that do, like, they'll throw a basketball across a whole, like, football field and they'll get it in, right? And they'll do it like 1,000 times until they get that take. That's Dude Perfect. Brilliant channel, by the way. They did 20 million last year. It's gone down, so I'm sure they're very sad. But if it seems dangerous to you, it is gold for this sports comedy fivesome. The videos are filled with things like someone bench pressing 400 pounds underwater and walking on a biplane's wing mid-flight. What's better than watching these stunts online? Well, seeing them up close and personal. The group will do a third live tour this summer in 24 cities in the US and the bravest of heart at home. Dude Perfect's last year published 101 tricks, tips, and cool stuff. A 250-page photo-filled book complete with a step-by-step instruction. Pretty cool, right? So these guys are just, all of them, they're just brilliant merchandisers, brilliant business people. And way out the box thinker. So as we step into 2022, which we're already in, but as we step to the end of the first month in 2022, which is crazy, what are you thinking about the future? How are you thinking about what you want to do? Because it's not all about money. They were just talking about money today, and it's far from all about money. But these people are really happy. And what I see with all of these people is they've created their own brand, their own empire, their own freedom. And the biggest thing I'm hearing about Mindset by Design and the 8-Figure Thinker and the Radical Formula and the Genius Trader and everything else I put out into the future, it's freedom. And I love it. And everyone deserves it if they want it. Everybody, every single person on earth deserves freedom. And unfortunately, we get, stuck in routines and systems and BS that's taught to us by what? Society. And it drives me crazy. Anyway, that's a whole conversation you've probably heard a few times off me. Next one, Logan Paul. Number 9. So that's Jake Paul's brother. Jake was number 2. Logan, number 9. Guess what? He only earned 18 million this year. He's doing well. He's doing well. And I think, he's going to do a lot more in the long run than Jake. Why? Because he's really clever with business. And he's banging to crypto, banging to NFTs. And did you hear that bang? As soon as I dropped my phone, the second I said bang, I dropped my phone. That, again, is the power of focus, which I was talking about at the start of the show. Interesting, eh? So 18 million. Like his brother Jake, Logan comes back to the list and after 2017 scandal pushed both of them siblings off. And like Jake, Logan has pivoted towards boxing. He did a couple of fights. He had a bout last June against former world champion Floyd Mayweather, which an exhibition and no official winner. But guess what? He still did all right. As Logan continues to rehab his image, he had one of the first celebrities NFT releases with a $5 million sale last February, while his podcast has generated over 100 million YouTube views over the last year. So again, Does he care whether he earned 18 million or 25 million or 30 million? No, he's cool. He's just living his life, man. He's just living his life. Okay, number 10. Number 10, the 10th most successful person on YouTube in 2021. Got to give a little drum roll for this one. As I say, probably should have gone from 10 to 1, but whatever. Let's do a drum roll. I'd never heard of half of these people anyway. There's the drum roll. So, Preston Osmond. Interesting name. Preston Osmond. Interesting. But he's come down in the rankings. Oh, well, he only earned 16 million. So 16 million for the top person, right? That's incredible money, right? And there is a little clause at the bottom that I'll get to, because these, well, guess what? This is from June, through June to June. So, and this is pre-tax, fees for agents and managers and lawyers are not deducted. Earnings estimates are based on data from Captivate, Social Blade, and Polestar, as well as interviews. So again, they're not going to be 100% accurate, but they're going to be pretty close. So let's have a look at Mr. Preston Osmond. Preston runs several YouTube channels, but the name of his most popular one is Preston Plays. Says all you really need to know about him. The guy plays a lot of video games. Again, mostly Minecraft. Do you get this? If you've never seen Minecraft, go on YouTube and type in Minecraft. You'll go, what the hell is this about? But hey, a lot of people love it, obviously. Nearly 12 million people subscribe to that 4-year-old channel, which has done a good job of keeping topical. In one of its most recent videos, he built a playable Minecraft version of the challenges from Squid Game. Boom! So that's Mr. Osmond. So again, these are absolutely brilliant people. And the reason I wanted to showcase this for you today is simply one thing. I want to show you that the world is changing. I want to show you that those dreams and things you have in your imagination are possible. I want to show you that freedom you can have. You can love what you do. You can love each day. And if you're in a really low place right now, something's gone wrong, or you're just confused, or you whatever's going on, remember, I've been there. I've been homeless, I've been bankrupt, I've had nervous breakdowns, I've traveled and lived around the world for 20 years this year. I just do me. And you shouldn't be competing against anybody else, ever, because you're not going to ever compete with the money game. You're not. If you've got $1 billion, there's Jeff Bezos got 186, or whatever Elon's got now, 200 something. You can't play the money game, right? So what can you play? Well, you can play the happiness game. You can play the freedom game. You can play any game like that you decide. Because ultimately, if you're happy and fulfilled, you win. You win. And that's what you need to know. That's the lesson of this podcast. That's the lesson of my life, the brand, everything, all the brands I put out. You can do whatever you choose. So don't listen to who pulls you down. Don't listen to those people from the past who are scared. Don't listen to the people who aren't jumping at opportunities. Listen to yourself. Listen to your heart. Listen to your intuition. And go for it, man. But understand, it isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. You're never going to get rich quick like that, right? It requires intelligence or insane amount of luck. An insane amount of luck. You might just hit on an NFT the right way. You might hit on crypto the right time and now think you're a star. Well, you're not a star and you're not a trader. You just got lucky. And there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. But now it's about growth. So I want you to treat yourself and your business, your life, your future like you're a world champion athlete or an athlete heading towards being a world champion. It requires hustle. It requires discipline. It requires overcoming bad days to get back on good days. It requires you to overcome losses. It requires you to feel pain and then come back to pleasure. It requires you to focus on what you want and work your ass off to master a skill. Not do some BS course, not do some BS certification and then think you're a pro and charge high level money. Because that pisses me off too. Because people get hurt. People get hurt. But it's not about that. It's about you becoming the best version of you and living the best life that you can live. And if that's who you are and that's what you want, the world is open. It's a beautiful, beautiful place out there. Don't let other people spoil it. Don't let the media lie to you. Don't let anybody get in the way of your dreams and your life. And it's not about money. You could just want a tiny bit of land and be self-sufficient and be happy. You could live in a van. You could do all of these things. And as long as you're fulfilled and happy, you win. Okay, crew. There we go. It's the end of episode 340. We did it together. Hope you loved that episode. Hope you loved it. And I really, really hope that you are, you're enjoying yourself. And I really hope that you head over to the show notes and come and hang out with me. Come and hang out at theradicalformula.com. Come and hang out at thegeniustrader.club. Come and hang out at the 8figurethinker.com, 8figurethinker.com, and come and hang out with me somewhere on social media. Andy Murphy Mindset. And what else? Make sure that you're sharing this episode. Make sure that you're writing me a review. Links in the show notes. And what else? Well, have an amazing week. And as you have an amazing week, enjoy yourself. The world is yours to go and master. And one more thing. Why don't you smile for me?
Thanks so much for listening to today's episode of the Mindset by Design podcast with your host and NLP expert, Andy Murphy. We'll catch you next time.